And here we are back in Figma. I'm going to run through my designs for Mo Speech. Mo Speech is now about a third of the way being built with Cursor and Claude Code. Um, I'll be making more videos about the actual build, but as I wait for my tokens um, to reset from their limit, I'm just looking at Figma and I wanted to go through and make a video about my mid fidelity to high fidelity designs and why they don't need to be like super high fidelity, and I don't really need to put navigation or anything. I'm going to show you where I decided to stop in terms of then deciding where to build. And I think this is now a key factor with design engineering coming as a key discipline. I don't think we need to go all the way in Figma anymore. So yeah, let's have a look. So in my last video, I got to about here. It's come a long way. I had like paper wireframes that I work from, and I use these low fidelities just to block in UI, work out. I worked out quite a lot of important stuff here. So like here, I worked out that the symbol editor page or modal is going to be this two column split, and you're going to have functions here and different tabs to search for different kind of images. We've also here had the introduction of the play modal, where images are going to play a large screen and have indicators on which symbol is playing. So it was very useful, and like like all good versions, the next version is always a better version than the previous version, with any luck. So the main thing I worked out here was the organization of um, of categories, and I really boiled it down to only having a really simple navigation bar with home, search, and category. And then in the categories pages, you have different modes. Okay, so I really blocked out a lot of how that's going to look and work. It solved my complexity issue of having loads of different features in and making it really complicated for the user to see what features are being used. So now these are my high fidelities. I'm going to quickly run through these because this is as high detailed as I'm going to make this. There's no page links, there's no navigation on there's no prototyping in this tab here. It's all design. The reason for that is because it's so easy to generate code these days. I think you just need to use this for your blueprint, and of course, the more time you spend thinking about all the edge cases, better the the better the build, and the more problem free the build is going to be. But saying that, there's so many edge cases. If you think about probabilities and you take into account of every single possible problem you could have, you could just never get to the build. So I try and get to the build as soon as possible. And let me just show you what I've got here. This is an actual interesting column here, themes. So this was made after my first session building. I quickly realized that light and dark mode wasn't really good enough, especially if a child with or a person with learning difficulties is obsessed over a particular color, which might help them interact with this program a bit more. So I mean that's what it's all about: being accessible, trying to get people to get kids and people to use it. So this is a possibility that could help. And then I also developed an idea of making templates and resource libraries, so this UI can be fully customizable, and as the Most Speech team can create custom looks for this. This is a very simple one going off the Tailwind design tokens. Um, so, but I'll go more into that in the actual design tokens and the design system video. This one is just something I realised. I quickly jumped back into Figma, made these designs, and yeah, made the system themed from the beginning. There's also um, another change that I made, but very important architecturally, and it just goes to show no matter how much you think about things here, when you get into code, there's always stuff that you haven't thought about. So that's the home page, and then after that we go to the search page, which is very much like the MVP. It's got a simple search bar. You can turn the header on or off, so that header is off. And then when you turn the header on, you have this talker. You have this talker which has two states. You have you have this header which has two states. It's the talker state, or you have the banner state. And you can use the toggle to switch between the two. On the top bar you have the header toggle, which will actually turn it off. So there it's off, there it's on, and this is talker and banner, and leave it on talker, and you search for it just like the MVP. It's very simple. You can type or you can talk, the symbol comes up. You can either put it into the talker and make sentences, or whatever you need to do. It's mainly just very simple use, searching for symbols, most probably used by the instructor more and high functioning students. So the next one is categories, and this is slimline: home, search, categories, settings. Now, the way I've used the talker and the banner here to get more function using the different states of components, I've also done that with categories. So let's go here. Categories. This is where all the regular categories you get are already existing in current AAC systems. My Most Speech will come with its default categories, which get loaded into the profile, and the user will be able to edit this. So here's the edit page. You have these dashed highlights, and edit icons come in, so they clearly know that they can move and edit these about. If you want to add a category, you can do that. Out pops the add category modal to add. Up pops the category modal to add, and it just adds a category with the words you've put in. And then you can also have colors, so that the header and the category, if you will have a particular color which it will be highlighted in, so you can do that as well. Okay, so once you go into a category, each category has 4 modes. You've got the board mode, which is this, the list mode, which is this, the sentence mode, which is like this, and the first then mode. And these all relate to the category. So you can make any sentence you want to make out of here, you can make it with the symbols from that category. So it just stays in context for the user. The board, the board is the only mode of the category where you can flip the header from talker to board. And also on the board, there's more functionality on the board. So you use the talker for talking, just like in search. But when you have the board enabled, you have more editing functionality and other functions can be added to this as we go. And here's the symbol here will be the same symbol that appears on these folders. Okay, so here we go. When we edit, so that's just a normal kind of state. When we edit, we get all these editing functions. You can save, cancel, you can add a symbol, which you'll put one at the beginning here, choose the color of this category, and edit this. You can also move these about, delete, edit the actual symbols on here as well. Okay, so now also in board mode, this is another big feature of MoSpeech, is we're going to have a modeling button which will actually teach the motor skills of where the symbols actually live in which category. So you can choose. You press model in a board. You choose any symbol you want to model, and it will go through to the other user's board, and they will run through this modeling flow program, which will show the symbol, confirm it to model, and we go through this flow now, where it goes all the way back to home, and it shows you which button to press to get. And then at the end, you get a congratulations, an animation, and the user knows they've definitely done something right. And that is the process to teach motor skills of finding where the symbol lives in which category, to help promote independent use. Okay, so here's another feature that I've been thinking about for a long time. It's having lists. Now, lists are steps of it could be anything. It could be an action, a sequence of actions. It could be to memorize something in a certain order. So, like, you could have so many things, from getting dressed, going to the toilet, getting ready for bed, getting ready for dinner. You could have simple steps in clearly laid out in lists. And this is the editing lists, create lists, similar kind of theme. When you go into a list from here, so this is all the lists laid out for that category. When you go into a list, you can view it in rows, columns, or grids. And you can also choose if you want numbers and checklists. This is quite useful, I think, when someone is working through a list, they can check it off, they know it's done, it goes to a particular done highlighted colour or muted button, and they know they have to go to the next one, and so on. They can complete the list. Another thing to help with user feedback, they know what they've done, and they can see where they're going. Okay, so then when you actually get into the lists, you can edit them individually and put descriptive text next to each one. Help people learn step by step, which is the best way to learn, I find. This is the list play modal. So when you play it, it just bounces out as big as possible in the format it's in, and it stays on the screen for a few seconds, and it gives the user time to go to the next one. So that's lists. I've been thinking about making this for a long time, and it's very exciting to make this now. Okay, you might think this is very similar to lists, but it's not. Sentences are more like, this is it. The list of this, we have a list of sentences, very much like the lists of lists, but as you can see, these are separated. These sentences are all in one, so it's quite simple. You edit them, so you can add a combination of symbols here with the sentence name, and similar with the create modal there. But when you play it, it plays the sequence of it plays it all in one. There's no step by step here. It's all the symbols laid out and the sentence written and the symbol going one by one. Right, first thens. This is a classic speech and language therapy image board that they have. First, you do something, then you do something else. So, another mode of the categories. There's the list of first thens. You edit them, just like you can kind of see the similar theme, the edit theme coming on here, and how I've built it in with a particular color. So it's gonna be easy to understand when it's in edit mode. And when you go into a first then, you get it enlarged. So it's very easy. It's first, more editing. But when you click on it, I mean that's to edit. That's when you go on the edit on the top bar. And remember, this header can be hidden. So if you want your user to not have this and only like just play, it's very easy for it to be like that. So if you think a student is going to see it like that, a teacher is going to see it like that with all the editing features. And again, the play modal just zooms it out and makes it as big as possible and clear as possible for the user to see what they've pressed. Okay, this is a big feature here. It's the symbol create edit modal. The reason this is a modal is because it's used across the application and even into the admin pages. And we've got it into two columns. We've got and then on the right column is the kind of source we're getting the symbol or the picture from. We've got symbol sticks. We can upload a picture from device. We can get a Google from Google Images, and I'm also going to have image generation from the Google Imagen model. So this is the symbol sticks library search, very similar to the search page of how it's going to work. So you can record your own audio and customize the text, the outlines, and the category, save it to a particular category. So this is the upload picture, obviously from a computer or a phone or wherever you're using it. And then you get the properties. Google Images, similar kind of thing here, very self-explanatory. And then the image generation from Nano Banana. We will have a preview page here. Have different styles, we can choose it, and you'll just prompt and keep talking until you get the outcome that you want, and then you customize and save it to a category. So that's a big feature, the symbol editor. Okay, now the settings page has changed a lot. I've just turned it into a very basic kind of grid format, and on each one that you go into just pops out a modal of where you can change the settings. Languages, that's a very big thing that I'll go into on another video, but with any luck and if it works, I'm hoping to get non-romanized languages in and working on this. And this is basically all the settings modals where we can change the grids and everything. Voices and the profiles and inviting members. So this is something that I had to work out, is how is it going to work? This is going to work by a parent or a carer will sign into the app. They will have their own profile, but when they sign in, there will be an onboarding process where they will put their student profile in. Now, when they put their student profile, the app will then be able to flip between two different states of the actual app. You're going to have the instructor side and the student side. The instructor can choose what kind of permissions that the student has. If they want to be, say, if they maybe they don't want all these lists and sentences and the first ends, maybe they just want boards, or maybe they only want lists, invites. This is something I also had to work out. This is a way that the instructor, let's just say for example, it's the mother. Say the mother wants to invite other members of the family to also communicate with their child who has speech development difficulties. They can send an invite. A different member of the family, uncle, brother, sister, whatever, can respond to the invite, and they get added to the list. They will get asked to sign in to the app, and they come into the profile here, and they can use it just like how the instructor was using it. They can carry on modeling. They got access to all the sentences, all the boards. Everything is accessible. It's kind of like how Netflix has different people signing into the same account, and they can create profiles and stuff. We're kind of taking um, that kind of system on in most speech. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to run through as high as you can get when code is so easy to generate.